Tonight, on The Passionate Eye, was Canadian Mahar Arar's case just the tip of a massive CIA anti-terrorism operation?
Extraordinary rendition. That's CIA speak for flying a prisoner with no legal process to be interrogated more effectively abroad.
How many individuals from countries around the world were flown to secret prisons?
3 men came in with black masks that only showed their eyes.
The CIA still denies that prisoners are taken to be tortured.
The United States does not permit,
This country does not believe in torture.
tolerate,
We do not condone torture.
or condone torture.
We don't believe in torture.
But the world's most powerful intelligence agency was suspected of conducting secret flights by plane spotters in Europe and a few curious journalists. Mystery flights.
A rundown airport, a hidden spy base, a million blind eyes. The perfect setting for a dirty secret. In 2002, in the backwoods of eastern Poland, an old military airbase threw off its Cold War past and went into business with a mystery new client. Nameless, rich, and with extraordinary demands.
Był telefon, potem potwierdzony faksem, że...
There was a phone call, confirmed by a fax, that a plane with specified numbers would land, and that the airport had to accept this plane for landing. The airport was closed at the time. It was unprepared and we were not accepting any aircraft.
Więc powiedziałam, że to jest niemożliwe.
I said it's impossible, and then I was told we had to accept the plane. If we refused, heads would roll.
Jeżeli ten samolot nie zostanie przyjęty.
The rules were thrown out. No customs control, no airport staff near the plane, no one to see who was getting on or off. The plane stopped with its door on the far side.
Po wylądowaniu takiego samolotu podjeżdżał...
The border guards came.
Po chwili odjeżdżali i...
Then other cars drove to the plane. I'd say minivans.
Ja tak to...
They had tinted windows.
Minivany, ale tak sobie teraz... Bo one miały przyciemnione szyby, te samochody.
The minivans drove off. No one saw inside, not even the stranger.
Czy była kiedyś...
There was a woman from the American embassy there during one of these landings. She stood outside. The number plates were from the military base in Kekute.
Jednostki wojskowej w Kekutach.
9 planes in and out of this godforsaken airport, and one which kept coming back. A Gulfstream number N379P, registered to a firm in Massachusetts. This was a busy little plane, and not just in Poland. Earlier that year, the same Gulfstream had flown from Pakistan to Morocco. Shackled on board, a young Muslim from North London. These were the months after the terrorist attack of 9/11. The world was in shock. A new fanatical enemy, Al-Qaeda, was out to destroy the land of the free. You were either with them or against them. But how to tell truth from fiction?
America's stopped an Al-Qaeda plot to explode a radioactive device.
We have captured a known terrorist who was exploring a plan to build and explode a radiological dispersion device, or dirty bomb, in the United States.
Actually, Jose Padilla, the man they called the Dirty Bomber, was not a known terrorist. But he was a gangster, and he had converted to Islam. That was enough. The alert went out for Padilla's co-plotters.
Padilla's where he needs to be. The coalition we put together has hauled in over 2,400 people. There's just a full-scale manhunt on it.
The dragnet reached Karachi in Pakistan, where a British resident from North London was about to fly home. Britain had been Binyam Mohammed's home for 7 years after his family had fled Ethiopia's civil war. He lived in Kensal Rise, went to college and joined a sports club, until tired of waiting for asylum and a British passport, he borrowed a friend's, his first mistake. And then went to Pakistan and Afghanistan to learn about Islam. That was his second. In Karachi airport, he was arrested. His older brother's a doctor in the US. He won't show his face. Links with an Al-Qaeda suspect are too risky. One day he says the FBI came to him and asked, did he or his brother Binyam know the dirty bomber Padilla?
They show me a picture of Jose Padilla. If I know him, and he's a bad guy. I said I'm definitely sure he doesn't, and I don't think he knows who Jose Padilla is.
But baby brother Binyam Mohammed was now a terrorist suspect. He'd been to Afghanistan, and in 2002, that, with his borrowed passport, was enough to tip him through to the dark side, a world with no law and no rights. Binyam's account, shown to me by his doctor brother, tells how interrogators tried to coach him to frame Jose Padilla. It's read by an actor.
They want me to testify in court. They have no witness. And they have told me they're preparing me and others for their use, and giving us information on the accused, which we know nothing of. One of the names is Jose Padilla.
When Binyam refused, he says he was hooded, shackled and put on a plane. This was his first extraordinary rendition. That's CIA speak for flying a prisoner with no legal process to be interrogated more effectively abroad, using torture. For that, Morocco is notorious. Clive Stafford Smith is his lawyer.
He was taken by the Americans to Morocco, and he was taken there for a purpose. And he's not Moroccan, so there's only one purpose, and that's for him to go through a little bit of extraordinary interrogation.
The Gulf Stream took Binyam on his first rendition to Tamara prison. One day, he says, a woman claiming to be Canadian came in.
I'm giving you a last chance to think about cooperating with the US, said Sarah. If you don't talk to me, then the Americans are getting ready to carry out a torture. They're going to electrocute you, beat you, and rape you. 3 men came in with black masks that only showed their eyes. It was then that the circle of torture began. One of them took my penis in his hand and began to make cuts. They must have done this 20, 30 times maybe in 2 hours.
18 months of this and other torture, he says, brought him to breaking point.
They kept reading out to me and saying if I could say this story as we read it, you will just go to court and all this torture will stop. I could not take any more of this torture, and I eventually repeated what was read out to me. They told me to say that I had been with bin Laden 5 or 6 times. Of course, that was false. They told me to say I had told bin Laden about places that should be attacked. That was false too. They told me to say I had sat with Osama bin Laden's top people. That was a lie too.